Is the Austrian government working together with pedo gangsters to smuggle Eastern European girls for sex parties and then using crooked NGOs and taxpayers' money to cover these Epstein-style scandals up? If, after this story, you still have faith in justice, then you weren't listening. Here are 30 facts about the 2022 Austrian palmenhaus scandal for the fact-checkers who are very quiet in this case. So, fact-checkers, when will someone finally debunk my claims or proof they aren't true?
Does the Austrian government work together with pedo sex trafficking gangsters, spending taxpayers' money to cover up a pedo sex extorting scandal like Epstein and Diddy? We can give a lot more facts, but let's start with 30 shocking facts about the 2022 palmenhaus affair. Case 27 ST90/22S for the fact-checkers. Fact 1. 29 September 2022. Austria had a Belgian man abducted during his holiday in Hungary for allegedly abducting and raping 9 months long an Austrian woman. Fact 2. That man, me, claims now the Austrian judges knew that he was innocent, that his illegal arrest and media circus was staged with Austrian taxpayers' money to cover up a sick satanic pedo sex trafficking and extorting scandal in Austria which was going on for over a decade, and which he exposed officially more than a month before his strange arrest to the Austrian and European police forces. Fact 3. It's against the European and Austrian law to arrest someone without evidence, solely on an accusation. There was no evidence for any of the accusations in European Arrest Warrant 27 ST90/22S, and based solely on the accusations of the alleged victim, which is illegal, of which the judges would have known that they were impossible even if they had just a little bit investigated this case, as is their job. SIS-2 data and COVID tracking information proved all allegations impossible. Fact 4. The man tried to warn officers, judges, and prison staff of his innocence since his arrest. Nobody wanted to listen, read his letters to the judge in pleading to investigate, his demand for a lawyer, and to respect his human rights. He was locked in solitude in a dungeon without a lawyer or contact to his consulate. Fact number 5. The judges who issued European Arrest Warrant 27 ST90/22S committed several times perjury by claiming they investigated the allegations and had lots of evidence, proving I was guilty supposedly. The truth is, there was no evidence, and even the alleged victim had several times warned the allegations were lied under threat of her pimps. She tried desperately to notify the police and judges of this, which all...
Hallo? Grüß Gott, haben Sie mich zugemacht oder weiß ich nicht.
Können Sie nichts mehr machen.
Eine falsche Straße.
Normale
was ignored. She wrote declarations. She was working together with my lawyers trying to free me, while the lawyer of the NGO in her name was suing me, and the NGO was clearly aware I was innocent also. Fact 6. The judge on 15 October 2022 also committed perjury in his ruling by claiming I didn't say nothing that he could verify to prove my innocence on 15 October 2022. The transcripts clearly show I reported the palmenhaus investigation, which was sent together with all the evidence to his office on 23 August 2022, and which he and his buddies strangely saponated alongside other Austrian indictments against this gang and never arrested any of the criminals or ordered police to go investigate these brothels because there were more than one brothel for the sex trafficking network that was occurring there and of which all these girls were complaining. Fact 7. On numerous occasions, I begged for a lawyer and a fair trial. Since my arrest on 29 September 2022, I wasn't allowed to talk to a lawyer until 31 October 2022, and only for 30 minutes before a trial that was just starting, in which they demanded 15 years imprisonment against me. Fact 8. The information of the Palmenhaus investigation from 23 August 2022, which also proved undisputed my innocence, and which I reported to the judge on 15 October 2022, was withheld from my lawyer until 7 November 2022, who obtained it through a source with the Austrian police, because the judges refused to give it and were committing perjury over it, which is all proven in their own documents. Fact 9. I wrote numerous letters and request forms explaining my innocence, begging investigation and respecting the human rights. Also, I was begging to get a fair trial to the judges, who again ignored them and now again commit perjury over them. Fact 10. I was arrested on 29 September 2022. My first interrogation by police in Austria was on 9 November 2022. Although Austrian law says suspects have to be interrogated within 24 hours of arrest. In my case, the law didn't matter. Fact 11. I wasn't allowed to hand in any evidence of my innocence, which can also be proven with the recording of the hearing of 15 October 2022, which for some reason the Austrian judges suppress and refuse to hand in as evidence, and which my lawyers already 3 years demand. Fact 12. Evidence of my innocence, which the judges ignored, was getting destroyed and lost while it was in the care of the judges, like the files on my phone and the 128 GB SD card with palmenhaus evidence, which mysteriously disappeared when in custody with the judge. After I begged the judge on 15 October 2022 to investigate my phone, I even handed him my code, and I warned him that there were copies of this evidence, and luckily I wasn't joking, there were. All of this also can be seen in the recording of this hearing where I warned this judge to let me go because there were copies of the evidence, and that his crooked colleagues were involved, and I was aware of this. Like I say, we can see this footage, but Austria for some reason refuses to publish this evidence. Fact 13. Copies of this evidence were with Hungarian police, Austrian police, and my Belgian family and lawyers, which were numerous times sent to the judges, and they also ignored every time. Fact 14. Schengen information tracking data proved the 9-month abduction story impossible. They were ignored, although the judges several times claimed they thoroughly investigated the allegations against me. Fact 15. Idem dito for the tyrannical COVID tracking data, which was investigated when you wanted to drink something in a pub, but they apparently couldn't investigate it to prove the abduction and rape charges against me were false and impossible. Then they stubborn on privacy laws or something, because they couldn't use this data to prove that all the allegations weren't impossible against me. Fact 16. Also, lots of picture, video and social media evidence, together with point 14 and 15, were ignored for some reason, all proving the 9-month abduction was impossible, because 8.5 months me and the alleged victim weren't even near each other. I was in Belgium and she was working in Austria in prostitution and being controlled daily by Austrian police. Schengen information data proves this. And supposedly the abduction took place in Hungary that same period, which was just impossible. Fact 17. The charges and lawsuit against me were funded by a taxpayer-funded NGO, Gewaltschutzcentrum, who clearly knew I was innocent, being several times warned by the victim, all recorded on tape, and handed in to the judges. Still, they refused to drop the lawsuit against me with a high-priced lawyer. Although supposedly this NGO is there to protect women against abuse and human traffickers, they were funding knowingly a lawsuit against a Belgian whistleblower who exposed horrible abuse happening in Austria against trafficked women. And they were sending this woman together with other ones back to the pimps who were abusing them and forcing them into prostitution since they're 16. All again proven in their own documents, and all funded with Austrian taxpayer money. And I refer to the rape allegations that this woman was forced to make against me, because there she tried to hint to police what was really going on. And you could clearly understand that she was describing the Albanian man next to her as being the man bringing her from age 16 to Austria and putting her to work in prostitution. Strangely that the judges didn't read this part of the story, but issued on this story an arrest warrant against the man who was trying to help her.
Watch Blood Cult and wonder why this is being censored. Watch this documentary if you want to know to who you pay taxes. Where are the fact checkers?
Fact 18. Now they try to sue me to silence with an illegal slap lawsuit over this recording, which they refuse to investigate still in Austria. And they claim I don't have publishing rights because the speaker of the NGO didn't give me explicit permission to publish the recording. Although her NGO, in a flare of anger on the phone, said I could publish the recording, and also the second speaker, the woman, gave me permission to publish and to seek justice. Fact 19. This NGO woman, who knows the Minister of Justice, A. Zadig, didn't get fired or investigated after her crimes and proven corruption, but she even got promoted a year after this case. Fact 20. The Pilnacek case is tied directly to this case and have similar allegations of corruption and fake accusations against political adversaries. His wife, Caroline L., was also head of the Court of Graz, where this all happened in 2022. And she got caught destroying evidence in 2023, exactly like I accused these judges of doing, after the mysterious death of her husband, although the Minister of Justice in Austria claims they don't do such things in Graz, and there isn't any evidence of such things in my case. But they get then caught doing this exact same thing, and this is even reported in the media. Fact 21. Pilnacek was recorded in 2023 that he was tired to do illegal favors, abuse justice, and falsely indict people on demand of Austrian elites, politicians. Shortly, before his suspicious death, which nobody wants to investigate neither. And judges are openly caught destroying evidence of this mysterious death and refusing to do an autopsy even.
Knalleffekt in der ÖVP. Geheime Tonbandaufnahmen des verstorbenen Ex-Sektionschefes Christian Pilnacek sind aufgetaucht. Über Umwege landeten Inhalte bei der Krone, dem ORF und anderen Medien. In einem Nobellokal in der Wiener Innenstadt saß Christian Pilnacek mit guten Bekannten, redete über vieles, dann über die Politik. Über die ÖVP, zu der der einst mächtigste Justizbeamte der Republik ein Naheverhältnis gehabt haben soll. Was jedoch Pilnacek an diesem Abend sagt, klingt, als habe der 60-Jährige mit der Partei gebrochen.
Fact 22. Reporter Peter P., investigating the death of Pilnacek, was immediately also falsely accused of rape and smeared in mainstream media to defame him, although also the charges were proven false later and dropped. It wrecked his career exactly like what they did to me in 2022. Fact 23. Mainstream media was for some reason spreading uninvestigated lies which the Austrian judges only knew. Where was my privacy? And didn't I have to be convicted before they start spreading these accusations? Fact 24. Ilona K., witness and neighbor, was never interviewed by police, although she took care of the house where allegedly this 9-month abduction and rape took place. And she could also undisputed testify the allegations were again impossible. And also over the pedo gangsters from Austria attacking and threatening me and my family when we were in holiday there. She mysteriously committed suicide and was found down a water well. Fact 25. Gerard P., also witness and person of trust to my 23 Augustus 2022 testimonies in Austria against the palmenhaus sex trafficking pedo network, died in the aftermath of this case mysteriously. Fact 26. Zolti C., neighbor, witness, also living in Hungary in this village, and also dated another palmenhaus employee, and was registered also as witness of this case, died of a heart failure in the afterspam of this case. Fact 27. Mainstream media used paid actors, fake witnesses, and fake lawyers to spread this misinformation to defame me for some reason, and they were mysteriously waiting in a village in Hungary at night to film my arrest even. Fact 28. I was arrested since 29 September 2022 and I was only given on 17 October 2022 a phone number of a lawyer which I wasn't allowed to call or talk to until 31 October 2022, 30 minutes before my trial, or even to call until 2 November 2022, with only monitored phone calls by the prison staff. She didn't was allowed to speak or hand in evidence of my innocence, and this against a high-priced lawyer funded by taxpayers demanding 15 years prison of a knowing innocent man. And they all try to call this a fair trial in the Austrian Ministry of Justice. Fact 29. Documents show clearly the prison staff and judges were aware of the human rights violations that were being committed. Fact 30. More than a month before my arrest, Austrian police investigating the palmenhaus sex trafficking network were provided with evidence that these pedo criminals were threatening me and also an Austrian witness with false charges and crooked Austrian judges making us disappear if we didn't retract our testimonies. This was all recorded and handed in to police. Fact 31, bonus. The alleged victim came 3 weeks before the Austrian judges issued illegal arrest warrant 279022S to Hungary and desperately tried to warn for the plot of her pimps. She explained that they were making a plot to have me abducted with false charges and that they had forced her brutally to make this by her pimps and a crooked NGO and crooked judges that were helping them. They would make sure that I was innocently locked up. All was recorded, dated, and handed to the police as evidence, and the judge committed perjury and lied over this on 15 October 2022. The victim also was begging to be given witness protection in Hungary and offered to testify against this gang. And again, this was 1 month before the judges would have me arrested for this. And all these facts can be proven with documents from the Austrian Justice Department themselves, recordings made with these people, and witnesses. Lots of them. But still, after 3 years, the Austrian Justice Department and Minister Alma-Zadig is refusing to investigate any of these atrocities. I really wonder why. Because if you go to see what the allegations were in the 23 Augustus Palmenhaus investigation, these were drug trafficking ex-Yugoslavian gangsters who were smuggling Eastern European girls, some of them even minors, for satanic sex parties in Austrian brothels, which they were recording with hidden cameras to extort these Austrian men's present. They were extorting them not only for money, but also to do favors and mostly implementing COVID tyrannical mandates into their companies and communities. So if nobody has questions with this, I still have a lot of questions and I want answers. Finally, I want answers because these people, they destroyed my life and the life of my family in Hungary, that we had to flee and abandon everything there. And I won't forget what they did. And I won't rest till justice is finally served to these people. I never wanted anything to do with this entire case. I wanted these people to leave my family alone, so I reported this to police, not knowing which crooked case this was. These cowards had to come and destroy my life and that of my family, after I only wanted to clear my name and repair the damage they caused. They refused and thought they are going to intimidate me. Unfortunately for them, I warned them not to mess with me. I knew where the skeletons were in the closet and where I had to look. So I started investigating the case myself, and soon I realized why they were so viciously trying to take me out. The people involved in this Austrian scandal go right to the most powerful people in Austria, thinking they are above the law. Unfortunately, with the evidence there is at hand, I know they will never publicly or fairly handle this case, because it will bring down the Austrian political and judicial system, seeing who is involved all. Unfortunately for these people, I also know about the Epstein scandal, the Casa Pia scandal, the Teichmeister scandal, the Dutroux scandal, the Brunel scandal, Midnight Climax from MK Ultra, US8 scandals, the Franklin scandal, the UN sex trafficking scandals, the New Jersey official scandals, Austrian rabbi sex scandals, the WEF sex scandals, and I know also about the ignoration of organized political warfare and who is behind all of these scandals. I also have read Transformation America and Access Denied from Cathy O'Brien. I know about the Wiener laptop scandal, the Podesta scandal. I've read the 2007 FBI report on the pedo symbols, the Clinton Chronicles, heard of the Regina Love testimonies, Jesse Bryant testimonies. I've read also the book Nobody's Girl and heard the testimonies like the 60 Minutes Australia interview of Virginia Giuffre before they got her too. I also know about the Blood Cult documentaries, part 1, 2 and 3, Child Trade documentary, 1224 Survivors of Ritual Abuse documentary from KLA.TV. I know the Richard Bernard testimony, former CIA agent David Steele testimonies, his inquiries into the sex trade and human trafficking before they got him, the ex-FBI chief Ted Gunderson testimonies, the Pink Ballots case, Operation Gladio, MK Ultra files, Operation Mockingbird, Vault 7, Cerberus, Prism, Palantir. So if you guys want to have a discussion, I will gladly have a public one. Luckily, I made sure there are plenty of copies of the evidence and everything is recorded in my books. Should I accidentally fall from the stairs, get run over, or fall over a bullet, or find myself innocently incarcerated again. And I promise, after the people hear this atrocity and the overwhelming evidence, nobody will after have a grain of trust in the European justice system ever again. So I guess it's better you guys start talking to my lawyers. I hope you liked the video, and please like and share, and don't let Austria put this story into a cover-up, because they clearly was working together with these human traffickers, smuggling Eastern European girls for satanic sex parties to Austria. And the evidence points clearly to the World Economic Forum and the people involved with this criminal organization.
How Mr. George Soros published his plan in English in a Project Syndicate publication. It was done 2015, September 26. And he published a plan. He said that he is my, I'm quoting, here are the 6 components of my comprehensive plan. I just quote 2 or 3 points of that. First is, he said very clearly, 2015, that, quoting again, EU has to accept at least 1 million asylum seekers annually. That was the first point. Second, he said, adequate financing is critical. And he proposed to issue long-term euro bonds for financing the migration crisis and the migrants' social and welfare taking care when they arrive to the European Union. And another point which is very important for Hungary, which is involving the territory of Hungary directly into this program, he said that, quoting them, safe channels must be established for asylum seekers, starting with getting them from Greece and Italy to their destination countries, which means to bring them to Greece, to Hungary, and then have them to go to Austria. So don't forget that what we are speaking about is not an accidental stories, not a bulk of 10 years of accidental stories. It's a plan which is going on. It was written. It was published. It's known. So we are fighting again an organized gang called Empire of George Soros, NGOs, who are just supporting everybody who is transgressing our legal system and our regulation, and financing illegal activity against our nation. So this is why the story is not just about migration, but it's about how this European Union is working and how George Soros was able to captive the main positions inside many institutions of European Union.
And the inauguration of organized political warfare explains how they got everyone to play ball with these crazy plans of the World Economic Forum and the Bilderberg Group. And the palmenhaus scandal is just one of many, but a very well documented example of how these people work. proving exactly what Prime Minister Orban tries to explain here.
Buying out MPs and other leaders and in order to execute the plan which is written, and it's against all the Christian and nation-based political forces. It's against us. It's about how to change Europe and how to eliminate and push aside all the Christian, conservative, national-based political leaders and voters from the European Union decision-making bodies. So this is the migration about, not just about migration.
Watch Blood Cult and wonder why this is being censored. Watch this documentary if you want to know to who you pay taxes. Where are the fact checkers? Thanks to me, an Austrian Epstein-style scandal got exposed, and also corruption in the Justice Department. Read the book, The Austrian Criminal System, and find out what happened.
And by competence and by will and by strength, then the timid join you, because then it costs nothing to be a patriot, to quote the great Mark Twain. In the beginning, the patriot is a scarce man, hated, feared, and scorned. But in time, when his cause succeeds, the timid join him, because then it costs nothing to be a patriot. The patriot is a scarce man, hated, feared, scorned. But in time, when his cause succeeds, the timid join him, because then it costs nothing to be a patriot. And when you commit to something worthy and good, it is not a weight, it is everything. It is your greatest strength. It becomes your soul to risk your life for freedom. It's what God forged you in his mind as he created your soul before he even put you in your mother's womb. He knew you.